The wheel turns will change colors. Now you saw the hoop flash blue there. That means the hoop is now locked. I kept the switch at a 3 o'clock orientation for a second. If it goes white, that means the hoop is now unlocked. So that is one way. If you suddenly find a hoop that you really want to play with and keep, you can lock it, you can play with it, you can unlock it again. And if you start in compose mode, start doing front flips and you're not getting anywhere, you might want to check that the hoop is locked. See, I just locked it, I may not have noticed. And then if I'm doing flips and I'm going like, wow, nothing's happening, this hoop is broken, just hold the switch at 3 o'clock for a second. It went white, that means it's unlocked again. The wheel turn in compose is one of the two main moves, and the other one is the flip move. And there's the flip move, and you see like these little indicator bars that tell you that you flip correctly. And if I do a back flip, I'll be back in the red bars, and I can change colors again. And in each of these front or back flips, we change what we call screens. And that's just an environment where the wheel acts differently to select different parameters in each environment. So if I'm in this particular one, I'm changing colors with the wheel. And at any point I can just play with that hoop without doing anything else. It should just keep the settings that I'm in unless I do more wheel turn or flip. So now I'm changing colors, and then with a flip, the easiest way to flip is to have the switch facing you, because then you know what a front flip or back flip is. But here goes a front flip, and I'll get the yellow bars, and this will now change segments. So you can see as I do more isolations, you can see the number of segments change. So the pattern of the hoop changes with the isolations now. And if I go back, I can return to any earlier selection. So here we have LEDs on with LEDs off in between. And if I flip to the next screen with a front flip, here we go, it should be a green indicator, and there it is. And now this will, if I do the wheel, this will change what the LEDs are doing. Are they steady? Are they fading? Are they strobing? Or are they sequencing? So we should be able to go into a strobe, and after that it'll go into a sequence where it's going around the hoop like this. And let's say we stay with this white sequence and we want to alter the parameters of that sequence. If we do another front flip, we'll be in a screen, an aqua turquoisey kind of indicator that then when we do the wheel, it does various things to that sequencing. So it makes it appear in different amounts of the LEDs that we had selected, and it changes the apparent speed of the sequencing in those LEDs. But we could, let's say, keep that and flip to the next screen, get a blue indicator, and this is effect speed. So when we do the wheel here, we should vary the speed of the sequencing and so forth. And as I say, when you get something that you're kind of interested in playing with, well, just you can hoop with it. It shouldn't really do anything unless you flip, which I just flipped. And then if we go on again, we'll be back into the color screen, and we say, oh, we didn't really want white, we want some other color, see what that looks like. So we're into that particular color. And you can keep going. You can keep going between screens, going back, going forwards, doing wheel turns, finding something interesting. As you play with the hoop, you can be doing these things, and just kind of freewheeling situation. And when you get really familiar with it, you'll be able to enjoy dancing with the hoop while changing parameters. Let's open a hoop up in the quiet quiver. The Hoop is vertical, the switch is facing me, and we're taking this segmented hoop, and it's a hoop that actually has two sides to it. So you can see it has a blue side and a red side. So some hoops do that, and that's kind of fun to play with. Whenever you flip them back and forth, they change color. But let's say we want to vary the color of this hoop by doing a wheel, Merlin's wheel or an isolation. We could vary the color by doing flips. We've learned that move doing toggle color flip, and then every time we flip the hoop we would change color. But let's say we want to do it while we're doing it in isolations. This would be one use for the compose mode. We can import this hoop into the compose mode, and then we can play with it in compose mode until we've varied all the parameters we want, and then we can save it, and that'll be like our custom hoop that works for doing certain moves that we specialize in, or something that we want to communicate in a performance, something that expresses whatever we feel like expressing. So we can customize a hoop display and tailor it to our style or mood or what effect we want to create. So here's a move. It's going to be a right hand isoflip. So down to the bottom, flip it up, start turning it clockwise, a quarter turn, and then front flip there. And now you saw those two little red indicators, which means that we're in the first screen of compose mode. So now when we rotate the hoop, we vary the color scheme. And you know, if you want to be doing isolations, keeping the same pattern but changing the color as you isolate, this would be a good way of making that. So turning the hoop off or doing a half off in compose mode clears everything that we've done, and when we turn it back on, we'll be in the default rainbow hoop. But we're going to do this move again of importing or customizing a hoop, and we'll take the same hoop in the quiet quiver, turn the quiet quiver on. That hoop should be there for us. It is. We're going to do the customize move, which imports a hoop into compose mode. So it's a right hand isoflip, then a quarter turn clockwise, then a side flip, and you'll see those two little red indicators. We are now in the first screen of compose mode. And by using the wheel, Merlin's wheel, or an isolation in either direction, we can be in our original hoop or in any other color scheme that we want. Let's say we're feeling pinkish, and we're going to stay in this color scheme, but we think, oh, we could vary the segment pattern a bit. And well, this color scheme doesn't make it very obvious on the video that you have those two colors. So let me wind back. Yeah, maybe something like that is more obvious. And what we'll do there is we'll then flip into the segment screen, and we'll rotate counterclockwise, and we can increase the amount of segments and change the number of segments and so forth. You saw the hoop there, went blue and then white. That means it locked and unlocked. I was holding it with the switch at 3 o'clock. So the holding the hoop here went blue. That means now I can hoop with this hoop. I can do flips. I can do any move whatsoever, and it won't come out of that. And then if I leave the hoop there, you saw a white flash. I left the switch at 3 o'clock. That means it's now unlocked, and even though I can hoop with this hoop and it should stay in the same display, but if I flip there, I went back to the color screen.